Good evening and welcome to Cavan TV News and Views. Well, this evening, all things canine. Well, you know, us Irish people are well known for many things, but I have to say that we are well known for our love of animals, and in particular our love of our pets, and in particular our love of dogs. And we all have a family pet. Oh, God knows they don't last long, but we all have a family pet. And they're, as people say, they're part of the family. But there's been a few famous dogs from Cavan as well, and one is Garfield, and I'm going to tell you all about that. But first of all, in the studio this evening, I'm going to introduce you to Ralph Dunne. Good evening, Ralph.
Good evening, Áine. Thank you for having me.
And you're all the way from Belturbet, isn't that right?
That's right, yes.
Yes.
Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome. And we're going to talk about Cavan's Pet Crematorium.
That's right, yes.
But we're going to, as I say, Ralph, we are known for loving our pets, and we love our dogs, we love our cats, and we love our cows and our calves in the field and everything. We're a great nation for loving our animals. But unfortunately, a time comes when our pet has to leave us and go over the Rainbow Bridge. The Rainbow Bridge.
That's it.
But to get back to the very first story, oh yeah, that's the picture up on screen now. I'm going to tell you about. That is Cavan's Pet Crematorium, all the way down there in Stag Hall, isn't that it?
No, Belturbet.
Belturbet, down in Belturbet. And that is the picture there on the screen. But before we get to that, Ralph, a very interesting story, a very famous story actually, of how this all came about. And it's all about Garfield.
It's all about Garfield. Many years ago, I got Garfield as a puppy. Decided I would show him at the shows here in Ireland and in England.
What breed was he now?
He was a Clumber Spaniel.
That's
a gun
an unusual
dog.
breed.
Yes, a rare breed, a gun dog. Quite large, white, a little bit like a miniature St. Bernard. If people would be more familiar with a St. Bernard than a Clumber Spaniel, and a little bit bigger than a Springer Spaniel. But anyhow, I started showing him and brought him to Crufts. On the first year he went there, he was best of breed and he did very well. Then in 1991, again, he was qualified for Crufts, took him there and he won best in show.
I remember all that excitement back in 1991. That was big.
It was, and it was a centenary year, and I think the entry was approximately 24,000. So little did I ever think, going there with Garfield, that we'd end up winning best in show.
I think perhaps, Ralph, am I right, correct me on this, that if you Google that, actually there's a video of that, of you running around in a suit with Garfield in Crufts, isn't that right?
You will find it somewhere hidden on the internet, but it is there, it is there, so it's there forever.
What age was he when he won?
He was just gone 3-year-old when he won. He was quite young, and after that I only showed him occasionally.
Did you breed with him?
Yes, he did sire a couple of litters in England, and
of course you had to. I mean, he was such a class dog.
I was very protective of him, and I didn't want the breed to become very popular because of Garfield's win, and I didn't want,
which can happen too.
Oh, very easily, yeah. So I didn't want people wanting a puppy from Garfield for the sake of having a puppy from Garfield. So it was very selective in, I think it was 2 litters in England that he had. And one of his daughters was the breed record holder for the number of CCs achieved up until very recently. So very proud with that.
What is the life expectancy of a dog like Garfield?
Garfield's life expectancy, or that breed, would be somewhere between 10 and 13. You know.
Yeah, that's good for a big dog.
It is quite good for it. You know, obviously it may be a little bit more. It may be a little bit less. You look after them well. Yeah.
So what kind of a life did Garfield live after that, after his big wins?
Oh, he was a very independent dog. He sort of just loved being out in the fields, running around, doing his own thing. And occasionally, obviously, you'd take him to the shows. And, you know, he had this thing about him. When he arrived at a show, he knew he was there to compete. And he could be lying asleep outside the ring. But as soon as he'd go into the ring, he was fully alert, ready to go, and he just thoroughly enjoyed it.
He was a performer.
A performer, yeah.
So when Garfield lived with you, was he on his own? Did you have any other dogs?
I did have other dogs. I had a golden retriever. I also had another Clumber Spaniel, but Garfield was the king.
He was number one.
Yes, he was number one.
Yeah, and he was running in the fields. Did you allow him into the house?
Yes, of course he did.
Could he watch telly?
No, he would come in, but he would prefer to stay outside. Right. With being a gun dog, I think the house was too warm for him.
Yeah.
So, and the outdoor life for him suited his coat and kept it in much better condition, because when a dog is in the house, sometimes they can continuously molt.
Right, yeah, they're too
But,
warm.
yeah.
And what was the maintenance on Garfield like? Was he high maintenance?
Not really any different than any other pet. You know, you groom
You had to
them,
keep him brushed, yeah.
groom them, feed them, exercise them, whatever vet visits you needed, inoculations and that. So nothing really different than any other
It wasn't
pet.
high maintenance.
No,
and
no.
Can I ask you as well, with Garfield, like, you know, did he shed? Like,
Oh,
of
he
course,
did.
He was a
Yes,
shedder, was he?
very much,
Yeah.
and a slobberer.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So
don't be getting a dog.
No.
You have to go with the breed, yeah.
When he would be shaking his head if he was
A bit like a St. Bernard.
Yes, and clearing his mouth, you'd see some slobbers flying all over the place, and you think, oh, they've missed
Right.
me. And then the next thing, they land on you.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the joys of owning a dog.
Yeah. So, then when Garfield's time came to go, what happened to him in the end? Did he just get old?
He just
or-
got old. I always dreaded
Yeah.
the day.
It doesn't take long for it to
It
come
doesn't.
around.
I also dreaded the day that I would have to make that decision.
Absolutely.
I suppose, fortunately, it was taken out of my hands. He just died in his sleep.
Oh,
So I didn't
that's not so
have
bad,
to
yeah.
make a decision.
Yeah.
Not that it makes it any easier, but it was under its own terms. And that. So when that happened, I knew from day one that I would have liked to have had him cremated. So my options were quite limited. But I discussed it with the family, and they weren't sure about the whole process. So, but I was determined this is what I was doing. So I found a place outside Belfast, made arrangements to take him to Belfast, left him there, just dropped him at the door outside a warehouse type of situation, and then went back from 3-5 days later. I can't just remember exactly when. It wasn't the
tough,
send-off
no.
that I would have liked.
That was tough because you were
Yeah.
leaving, as I said, and you know,
Yeah.
dogs it's part of your family, you know, leaving
Yeah.
them there, and you
Yeah.
felt, leaving them there on alone and
Yeah.
everything like that.
Yeah.
But that spurred you on, Ralph, to
It
think of something.
did. I just thought on the drive back home, wouldn't it be nice to be able to offer something more personal to families?
Absolutely.
And thought about the idea and all that, and did some investigating about it and research, and as it turned out, the timing wasn't right. But when I brought the ashes back home, everybody knew it was the right thing to have done.
Yeah.
And we still have the ashes at home, and they're in the sitting room. So, some days you talk to them, some days you don't.
Okay, let's talk about, and there it's on the screen, Cavan Pet Crematorium. A nice little building there, just off the Bell Talbot Road.
That's
isn't
right,
it?
yes.
And
Yeah.
handy to get to, great access and everything. So basically what anybody does is when their dog passes away is they give you a call.
Yeah, we're always there at the end of a
Yeah.
call. Doesn't matter whether it's late in the evening, weekends, holiday weekends.
Yeah, because we know you can't keep your pet long once he's deceased. You have to,
That's right.
action. You
Yeah.
have to take action, and
Yeah.
that's it.
So we're always there for people, and people will give us a call. Sometimes they'll give us a call in advance of the inevitable.
Yeah.
Sometimes people like to have plans made, know what their options are, because when the pet passes away, sometimes people are very vulnerable and they
Having things
lose
thought out.
concentration
Yeah,
and
things
haven't thought what they want to
thought out.
do.
Absolutely.
And then after that, they're sorry they haven't chose cremation.
Okay, so let's have a look at inside Cavan Crematorium. You have got your wonderful, calming information desk, or your reception desk.
Reception, yep.
And then you've got the quiet room.
That's right.
No, isn't that what you call it?
That's the quiet room. Yep. That's where.
So tell us exactly, bring us through a procedure there,
Okay,
Ralph.
what happens is when the family rings us, we arrange a time for them to come to us. We always like to arrange a time so that families don't cross over if somebody else is coming or coming to collect ashes.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own specific time there, and you can have as much time as you like. So what will happen is family arrives with their pet, we greet them in the car park, take the pet from them, bring them into the quiet room, set them up the pet up in the quiet room, and in the meantime the family go into reception and sign the consent form.
And we can see some of the pictures there on screen of the quiet room and the desk, and then the service that you offer as well. You can have your pet presented to you several different ways afterwards.
That's
as well.
right. So families can spend time in the quiet room, and when they feel it's time to leave, they come back out to us in the reception, and we'll have a little chat, maybe discussing some of the little traits the dog has had, or the cat, or whatever pet it is, and people start telling stories about it, and then they may choose an urn or a casket, whatever they want.
And you have got fabulous things there. And
yes, there's
something to suit everybody. And whatever suits a particular family, you've got all presented there in a cabinet in a place.
And everybody can choose at their leisure, or choose at a later date what they would like the ashes to go back in.
But there's one thing, Ralph, that's very unique about your service, is that this is an individual cremation.
Yes.
That this is
Absolutely.
the journey, the end journey of your pet.
Yeah. We want people to have total confidence that they're coming with their pet to Cavan Pet Crematorium, and they're leaving with their pet's ashes the following day.
And you have the little medal
That's
thing
right.
as well.
Yeah. We also have a little ID disc that stays with the pet throughout the cremation. So when they get their ashes back, this disc is attached to the urn, or the whatever way the ashes are going back. So there is traceability right through the process, from the beginning to the very end.
That's comforting to know that.
Yeah.
For real genuine pet lovers, it is very comforting to know that. But also as well, your service in the pet crematorium, it takes, we're all busy, we're all doing things, it takes the whole hassle of losing, not the whole hassle, that's not the right word, but it takes the hassle out of what to do afterwards with a pet. You just take it from there and finish it, and give good closure to people. And it's great for children, and you can tell the story to the children in the family. Well, this is where Buddy went, and this is Buddy's story now, and it's great. It's dignity. Really,
it is very dignified, and also from families with young children, it's probably their first touching death
of losing a pet.
So it gives them an idea of things to come in life, but also that they're there with their pet at the very end. They can see them, and then they return them.
And for anybody out there who thinks, my goodness, they're worried about the demise of a pet. Well, I can tell you, folks, there are so many people that do care about, really touched and emotional about the passing of a pet and what happens afterwards. You give a wonderful service to people, and they can, do their own thing at the end. You'll give them the time and let them do their own thing.
Sometimes people, when they get the ashes back, they may choose to keep them indefinitely. Sometimes people might scatter them on a favourite walk. They may take them where they go on holidays and scatter them along the beach. So the choices are endless, and people have time to make those choices. You're not rushed into making those choices within a few days.
But I'm saying you've offered this service, this wonderful service, to people all over Ireland have been coming to you.
Yes, there are other crematorium around, but people seem to like using our service. We had a family there on Monday evening from Cork, and I think that's their third or fourth time they've been with us. So they do travel to us.
I've seen you have a wonderful social media, you have a wonderful page on Facebook, and the nice, meaningful posters you put up there. But I see the comments as well about the great service that people find they get there. So that's good.
Yes, we have somebody that looks after our IT, Michelle Brady, and she does a good job on that. Very good job.
Very dignified job.
Yes, and I think also when people read those reviews, they know they're genuine.
Oh, they are,
And people make their decisions quite often reading those reviews to come to us.
Well, it's almost come full circle, and we've seen the pictures there of yourself with Garfield and everything, and you're still a dog man.
Yeah, that's
and
correct.
You're now judging dogs at a high level.
Yes, I judge under the FCI rules and under the Irish Kennel club rules, and this year I was lucky enough to judge my own breed at Crufts, Clumber Spaniels. So that has come the complete circle for me.
Yeah.
So it was a very emotional time for me. I felt it a great responsibility, and it was just the icing on the cake for me as far as judging my own breed is concerned. And I've been fortunate enough to be invited to judge abroad. I was in Stockholm there a few months ago. I was in the Czech Republic there about 6 weeks ago. So these invitations just come out of the blue.
Oh, great.
So
yeah.
it's nice to be asked.
Yeah.
So if people respect my decision, that's good.
So one last question. Do you have a pet now?
I do. And very, very strange this is. It's a son of Garfield's.
Go away.
And his name is Rhaegar. Back in 1992, after Garfield, or 91, Garfield won Crufts, but shortly after that, I had some semen stored and tried the semen on a few bitches over the years, but there weren't any puppies. So as a last resort, just over 2 years ago, tried it on a bitch that I had, and there was one puppy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, what a wonderful story.
Yeah, so
Garfield lives on.
He still lives on, and with Rhaegar, and Rhaegar has got his Irish title as a show champion. He's quite an independent dog, a lot of traits of Garfield, and there are certain times when he would look at you, you can actually see Garfield's expression in his face.
Yes.
So he was a singleton puppy as well, so he was always going to stay regardless how good or how bad he was.
Yeah.
So it's just nice.
So there you have it, folks. As I said, us Irish people really love our pets and especially our dogs. And of course, when the sad time comes and our poor pet has to go over the Rainbow Bridge, and what nicer way than to put it into the hands of Ralph and Bill, and they will take care of your pet in Cavan Pet Crematorium. Once again, Ralph, what a wonderful story, and I like the way it came full circle.
Full circle, yes.
with Garfield's son.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful story.
Well,
and where the story came from as well, out of your own heartbreak of having to leave Garfield outside an industrial unit in Belfast to the crematorium that you have offered there for people today.
Right.
A wonderful service.
Thank you.
Well done. And thanks from everybody in Cavan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.